Lobster, you got it back yet? Lobster's a 10, I told you grab it.
Welcome to Lobster Magnets Review! We are here to discuss Chapter 102 of Attack on Titan, Shingeki no Kyojin. And this was another fun, action-packed chapter. I really enjoyed this. It's nice to get this huge payoff after several chapters of, you know, basically wallowing in Marley combat content. Excuse me. So what I'm going to do for this video, I've still not found, like, a happy medium for these sort of, like, mid-form kind of, like, vlog content. I'm just going to take issues of the chapter, and then I'm going to have it, like, phase forward. So let me know in the comments below if you like that, or if you just prefer me finding random AMV or other things to substitute for the content as I go over my thoughts on the chapter. But anyway, so finally got to take a look at it today, and the chaos continues, and we also get a reintroduction of several of the good old Scouting Legion cadets. We get an older version of Jean, we get an older version of Sasha, we get an older version of Connie, where he's not the little pathetic shrimp, he's like, looks like he gained an inch or two. And we basically just get to see the scouting troops just cause mayhem and havoc and continue to murder Marley, but things are looking pretty bad for them, given the fact that the military fleet of Marley is going to encroach upon them. More forces are coming, and things are kind of escalating. Eren has not succeeded in killing the Warhammer Titan, and the Warhammer Titan has a very unique gimmick in the fact that it's like kind of piloted outside. You know, what we see is that, like, the Tipper, Willie's sister, controls it remotely, in the sense that she's in the crystal thing that we saw Annie in, but she's got this little like, sort of, I guess, how would I call it? What would I call it? I'd call it like a, why am I word searching? An umbilical cord, yeah. So she's got this umbilical cord that, attaches from her crystal stealth and goes all the way out to the Warhammer Titan. And the Warhammer Titan continues to be really cool and badass, as Eren points out the fact that, like, the Warhammer Titan uses the Titan hardening ability to such a ridiculous degree that it can create whatever weapons it wants. So, in all honesty, you know, it's not just Warhammers. This thing shoots a magical crossbow, it's got a whip of 9 tails. I am just like, God, I can't wait till 2020 when maybe we get to see this stuff animated. But, you know, so all a great sequence, and then we get a wonderful montage of just, like, the Scouting Legion just murdering Marley, throwing bombs in buildings, destroying troop convoys, and if anything else, like, you know, despite the fact this is, like, the cathartic revenge for, like, years of being murdered by Titans by Marley, and all the systematic oppression, we are also getting to see sort of Gabby's origin story. I've said it before and I'll say it again, this is clearly sort of setting her up to be Eren's sort of great rival in the future, in the sense that, like, you know, Eren is giving her as much, if not an even more traumatizing spectacle than the one he had to endure when he saw his mom get eaten by a Titan. You know, that's the event that, like, forever changed the course of his life. And Gabby here is obviously going through something similar, where she's like, I want to fight, and then she sees all the Marleyan soldiers get, you know, butchered by the good old Walldians, and get annihilated by their rockets. And then apparently, though, you know, things are kind of looking a little bit bad. I love the sort of escalation, the fact that, like, you know, the other warrior Titan shifters make it to the field. The Jaw Titan comes on to try and stop Eren from eating the Warhammer Titan. Although, this sort of brings a question that, like, okay, so Eren has, like, at least 2 Titans stacked up, and although it appears he can only use the power of 1. If he eats the Warhammer Titan, does that mean he's, like, you know, 3 Titans in 1 body? And so how do you get those 3 Titans? Does that mean those shifter powers are forever within Eren? Or if, like, you know, you get 3 Titans and they each eat a part of Eren, does that mean that they'll get the Titan powers back? And hypothetically, like, let's assume Titan shifters kept on eating Titan shifters. Does that mean you could, like, consolidate all of the Titan powers into, like, one Titan being? Is that what we're gonna see here? Like, Eren's on this quest to eat the other 9 Titan shifters to the point where he's the ultimate Titan with all the superpowers? I'd be curious to learn, like, the logistics of how shifters' powers transfer and work is still kind of vague. I mean, it's better explained now than it has been ever before. But, you know, I still got questions, and some stuff still doesn't make much sense to me. But, you know, what does that matter? We are getting glorious action sequences. I freaking love that the steampunk scouting legion is now ultra badasses because of the years they spent fighting, you know, regular pure titans. That they are just, like, you know, they can handle the titan shifters to the point where, like, you know, the jaw titan, is it Marcel or Marco? I forget his name, but anyway, he's like, sees Levi come, and he's like, oh shit, it's Levi Ackerman, crap, it's the Ackerman, I'm screwed. And of course, while everyone else is like using guns, Levi, you know, sticks with the good old Titan slaying swords. He's a, you know, classic boy who uses the classic weapon of the Scouting Legion, which is, you know, of course, the swords against Titans. Which, you know, you think that they would, like, you know, even Mikasa's, like, gone onto the rockets. Everyone's kind of, like, using the Thunder Spear as their preferred anti-Titan weapon. But Levi keeps it old school because he's just that much of a badass. So, you know, the Jaw Titan's scared shitless. But then, you know, the one thing that the, you know, anti-human people aren't prepared for, the Cart Titan with its freaking armored, you know, turrets and machine guns that it is placed on top of it, completely guns down a bunch of nameless randos. And so there we have the ultimate counter to the Eldians. But we are being set up that the Eldians have one more plan, in the sense that they're setting up all these lights. So my guess is that, like, in the next fight, things are going to go kind of bad. Marley's going to get the upper hand. They've got 4 Titan shifters. You know, the Walldians only have 1 with Eren, and he seems to be continually getting his ass handed to him. I mean, he does have support, but then, of course, we need Armin's reintroduction, because Armin's the Colossal Titan, and I'm kind of hoping that Armin figures out a better way to use the Colossal Titan, because so far, the Colossal Titan, like, hasn't really done anything that interesting in terms of combat. Let's see, it gets really big, shoots out steam, walks and kicks stuff, and that's about all we've seen. And the implication is that, like, the Colossal Titan takes so much stamina that, you know, oh, it's really, really hard to move around and do much of anything, and you can only do it for a few things before you're completely, you know, mentally drained. And I'm hoping that, you know, I've never been a huge fan of Armin. I always think that, like, you know, they play him up as like, oh my god, Armin's the ultimate strategist. Whatever, Armin's gonna save the day because his plans are so good. But it never really felt like any of his plans were anything beyond, like, very basic common sense. Like, you know, if you go and compare it to, say, something like Naruto, Shikamaru is built up as like, oh my god, he's the ultimate tactical genius plan, and all of his plans always felt like they were 2 steps ahead of what the reader could anticipate. They always had these little clever twists that we didn't see in terms of how he used his very bare bones shadow ability, while Armin's plans are always kind of like very basic-y and common sense. Like, you know, back in the original early chapters, he's like, oh, that Titan looks like it's not gonna eat us, so let's follow it. Oh, Armin, you're so deductive. That's such a great plan. You're so smart. You know, they're kind of building him up as the successor to, you know, my favorite character, the most underappreciated character in Attack on Titan, good old Erwin Smith. But I just never felt like Armin did anything to earn or show off that he's, like, a tactical genius. But who knows, maybe this will display it. He'll be like, I figure out a way to, like, become the ultimate Colossal Titan, and then he, like, sprints in, like, kicks all the Titans, and then just, like, moves really, really fast. That, to me, would be amusing, because obviously he's, like, the last card we have not seen played by the good old Walldians. Because eventually, you know, the Walldians are going to have to get out of here, and then we're going to, presumably move on to the final arc. I mean, there's some people who speculated, I've talked about this before, that, like, the whole manga's going to end by chapter 107. I can't see that happening. It definitely feels like, you know, maybe we're, like, I don't know, 75% completed, but, like, Gabby's being built up so much as, like, the rival of Eren and sort of the female counterpart of Eren, that I can't foresee a scenario where we don't see that play out after her going through her, you know, basically the equivalent of the Titan smashing through the wall that Eren had. So, you know, we'll have to wait and see. But I do feel like, you know, that'll ultimately be the ultimate climax, is when the entire world invades Paradise Island, and then we have to see them fight on their home turf and all the cool innovations they have. But oh man, this is kind of fun. Like originally, like it always felt like the Walldians were technologically not advanced, except for that, you know, steampunk Spider-Man 3D maneuverment gear. But now they're like kicking the ass of Marley, even though technically Marley is supposed to be the more technologically advanced nation. I guess they were really able to, you know, clear that gap in the 4-year time jump. But this is a great, fun chapter. I loved it. 9.0 for me. Really, really engaging, really, really fun. A lot of brutal, mean violence, which is, of course, why we come to this. And a lot of, like, good fan service. And not the sexy kind of fan service, but the fan service in terms of, like, you know, seeing what the Scouting Legion can do, seeing the Marleyan Titans united together. And I do love the scene where, like, you know, Zeke comes. It's like, oh, yeah, the Marleyans are, like, happy. The Beast Titan's on our side. Ooh, the Beast Titan. And honestly, I don't think we've ever seen, like, a shifter battle on this sort of scale, where you have, like, you know, one side of Titans with, like, a bunch of Titans, and then another side with not as many Titans, but, you know, this all promises to be, like, you know, drag out, no holds barred, action, fun time, and then there's the mystery of, like, what else does, you know, the Walldians have planned with the mysterious blinking lights, and when is Armin gonna show up? Oh, man. You know, it would be hilarious. I don't know how they'd do this if, this would never happen, but okay, I'm going to pitch you an idea. Let's see if I'm right in the next few weeks or months. Yeah, in the next few months. So maybe Hajime Ishiyama is a fan of Uber, even though he probably can't even read English, and he loved the scene of Uber Invasion, Chapter 1, where you know, Siegfried and Sigmund go to a base, steal a plane, and then they, like, you know, Siegfried bombs Boston, and Sigmund destroys Washington, kills the president, and they basically use that to, like, you know, air bomb with their Halo powers. Maybe what happens is that the Walldians have stolen an aircraft, because we know Marley has planes. We did have a scene where, like, you know, Zeke bombed another fort with basically, you know, pure Titans. What if the lights are a signal for Armin, who's, like, right now in a plane that the Walldians have hijacked, and then he's just gonna, like, jump out of the plane and then, you know, do his Titan transformation and then just, like, bomb the crap out of it. That would be, like, yeah, that would be great. It would be like the version of when Bertholdt did his, like, sort of kamikaze attack to, like, help Raynor escape from Eren, only, like, on a significantly bigger scale. You know, I think that's gonna happen. That's what I think will be, like, the big event that sort of ends everything and allows the Walldians to escape. It's also interesting that Eren is, you know, doesn't, kind of did this alone and was acting independently. But I mean, there must have been some coordination. I can't imagine that the, you know, Walldians were, you know, this coordinated just to, like, go and bring Eren back after Eren spent so much time undercover. But this has been fun. This has been a good, fun chapter. This is the most satisfied I've been in Attack on Titan for a while. And, you know, good, fun Titan, kaiju, military, World War II action, and I just love how, like, the different styles of all this different conflicting stuff are just kind of mishing together. Because that's one thing that I think kind of killed the Attack on Titan fandom, is that, like, the 4-year break between seasons, and the fact that the second season doesn't really introduce any new iconography to the series. It sort of, like, shows, like, the similar stuff. Like, there's, like, maybe 2 big new things. That's the introduction of, what's her name? Why am I blanking on this? The girl. Oh my god, why am I blanking on this? The previous... Ymir, yeah. The introduction of Ymir and the Jaw Titan, that's, like, the sort of big iconography introduction. And, of course, the introduction of Zeke. But, like, I've never seen anyone cosplay as, like, the frickin' Jaw Titan, Dancing Titan, because it's kind of an ugly-looking Titan. And I've never seen anyone, like, you know, people dress up as, like, oh, the Armored Titan, oh, the Attack Titan, oh, the Female Titan, but I've never seen anyone, I'm gonna be Bigfoot Beast Titan. Nobody gives a shit about the Bigfoot Beast Titan. And that's what's really important for a manga series to, like, you know, in shonen series or anything else, is like, you have to keep on evolving it, you have to keep on introducing new iconography, and eventually Attack on Titan does. It moves away from, like, the sort of paradigm of the scouts just fighting titans, and then now we've got this crazy batshit thing. You know, it introduces later on we get introduced to the anti-human gear, which is like a new dynamic to combat, and I'm sure when Season 3 launches in this July, it'll be really cool to see animated. And it also introduces the mythology of Marley and some other things, which, you know, you need fresh stuff, you need new things to keep the story moving forward, and you need new iconography. I think Super iPod Wolf put it best as, like, you know, the best shonen series don't stay stagnant. They don't repeat themselves to a degree. You know, One Piece is, like, one arc is Zombie World, and then another arc is Venice, and then another arc is a prison breakout. And, you know, you're always seeing new imagery, you're always seeing new art, and now Attack on Titan is definitely living up to that promise in terms of, like, consistently delivering this weird mishmash of kaiju biomech battles combined with steampunk Spider-Man gear and World War II technology, and it feels like nothing else that's out there on the market right now. So I'm really curious to see, you know, how the worlds of fandom react, because it feels like the Attack on Titan fandom has definitely died down because, you know, there's only so many times you can dress up as a scouting legion and, you know, go Sasagio. But, you know, people are going to go ape shit when this eventually gets, you know, animated. No pun intended, I guess. And, yeah, it's good stuff. It's definitely good stuff. No idea where it's going. Well, I have vague ideas where it's going, but, you know, I'm getting good payoff after several chapters of kind of dull Marley action. So let me know what your comments are on below. I always love reading your comments. Let me know if this format works for you. I still have not found, like, a low-quality format for this that I'm 100% happy with. I tried moving images, but I'm terrible at, like, motion graphics, so I'm not going to do that this time. But who knows? But again, thank you so much for listening to this video. Thank you so much for spending the time to hear my thoughts. And remember, lobsters and tennis, but don't you grab it.
Lobsters made of iron, lobsters made of eggs.